Welcome to Table Talk Reviews. I'm Matt Mitchell. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Alibis, a new cooperative thinky party game designed by Yusuke Sato and published by Allplay, who provided me with this prototype. This is a word game, but it's all about catching the criminal that actually did the crime. We need to provide alibis for the suspects we know didn't do it so we can get the correct perpetrator. Let me show you how it plays, and then I'll share my thoughts. Give each player a marker, an alibi tile, and a lineup board. Set aside the following amount of heat tokens depending on your player count. 6 players will use all 48 heat, 5 players will use 40 heat, 4 players will use 32 heat, 3 players use 30 heat, and 2 players use 20 heat. Place the suspect boards for your player count in the middle of the table, arranged to match the lineup board, and also place beside it the perpetrator board. For a 4-player game, you'll use suspects 1 to 9, and for 5 players, you'll add 10 and 11, and for a 6-player game, you'll use all 13 suspects. The 2 and 3-player games have special rules where you'll use 1 to 9 for 2 players and all 13 for 3 players. Any suspects not in play, such as in a 4-player game, can be crossed off on your lineup board. Shuffle the deck of word cards and lay one on each suspect's board. The word cards in this video are single-sided prototypes. The retail edition of Alibis will come with double-sided word cards. The suspect cards correspond to each of the suspect boards, so you can remove any that aren't in play, like 12 and 13 here for 5 players. Shuffle those up and deal 2 to each player. The remaining suspect will be placed on the perpetrator board. In 2 and 3-player games, all players will have 2 alibi tiles and be dealt 2 pairs of suspects. You will write an alibi for each pair of suspects separately, and heat can be removed for each pair as long as one of the other players guesses them correctly. You will still only fill out 1 lineup board. Simultaneously, players can secretly look at their 2 suspect cards and figure out which words they have. In this case, I have gym and golf for suspects 4 and 11. On your alibi tile, you must write a single word clue that connects the 2 words matching your suspect and provides them with an alibi so that we can narrow it down to figure out who the perpetrator is. So here I might write athlete and hope that no one confuses that with fame. The hint for your alibi can be any English word, a proper noun, abbreviation, or acronym, but it can't contain any of the words on the suspects or hyphens or spaces. It must relate to the meaning of the words and not their length or sound or spelling, so you can't do things that rhyme with it to try to hint to those cards. Once all players have written their clue, you can reveal it to the group and say it aloud. Mafia, fashion, athlete, and so forth. But at this time, do not reveal your suspects just yet. Now everyone will take their lineup board and look at the words that have been revealed. On the alibi tile, there is a unique symbol for each player, and you will write that symbol into your board where you think it matches. So here, fashion is maybe belt, and fame, fashion people, models are famous. So let's put those symbols in 8 and 13. And then for mafia, I think bomb probably. So let's draw the infinity here. And what else? We can circle around and try to narrow it down once we've eliminated some of the other ones based on other people's clues. Once we've done that, we should have 1 remaining that hopefully matches up with the perpetrator card. We can label that with a P, or you can just circle whichever one is empty. All of this is done individually without discussing as a group. Once everyone has completed their lineup board, we can then reveal each player's suspects one at a time and discuss the clues for some fun. So here we had 1 and 10, and that was for mafia. We had car and bomb. As long as any other player gets your 2 correct, you will remove 1 heat token. Then for every player that narrows it down to the correct perpetrator, we will remove 3 heat. Then we'll replace all of these cards with new cards from the words deck and shuffle up the suspects and deal everyone a new pair, and the final card goes to the perpetrator and play a second round. The game ends after 3 rounds or when you're able to eliminate all heat. If after 3 rounds you haven't eliminated all heat, you can count the remaining tokens and check your rating in the rulebook. Here's a full scoring example for a 4-player game. This player gave the alibi Sun for suspects 1 and 6, so they marked that on their board. That does not remove any heat, but you can see 2 players over here both got that correct, so we will still only remove 1 heat. This player gave the hint music for 7 and 8, and this player who gave the clue Sun got that correct. The other 2 players had some confusion. They put band and bass instead of band and rock, and this player put band and bar. I guess they play music at the bar. So a few players got it incorrect, but 1 player did get it correct that wasn't the player giving the clue music, so we still remove 1 heat. This player gave the hint mechanical for robot and clock. They marked that on their sheet, and this was a very good clue because all players got it correct, but that still only removes 1 heat. The last alibi was outdoors for suspects 5 and 9, and that was this player. And let's see here. This player got it incorrect, this player got it incorrect, but this player got it correct. So we've done good so far. For all 4 alibis, we've removed the maximum of 4 heat. But did we all get the correct perpetrator? That is the big question. Here, this player did. They got it correct. They chose to circle the perpetrator instead of using the P, so we will remove 3 heat. This player, despite getting some things incorrect, they still managed to get the correct perpetrator, so it doesn't matter if they made any other mistakes, they lucked into removing another 3 heat. This player got the correct perpetrator as well, so that's 3 more heat removed. This player, however, narrowed it down to number 8 instead of number 3. They got mixed up and thought 3 was for music, so they do not remove 3 heat. And that's everything you need to know to play alibis. When they say this is a thinky game, boy is it thinky. I wish you luck. I hope you do better than I did. In my first play, we only removed 19 heat. That wasn't 19 heat left. We removed 19 total. And that was with 6 professional board game players. Inevitably, this game is going to be compared to Codenames, and Alibis is much more challenging than Codenames. In Codenames, you have several words to select from to make your connection. In Alibis, you're dealt 2 suspects, and no matter how disconnected their words are, you need to come up with an alibi to let everyone else know it's these 2 guys. That can be very easy or very difficult. Especially sometimes there'll be similar words on multiple suspects, and you just have to hope that someone else can figure it out. And that's the nice thing about alibis. While it is thinky and challenging, there's still room to make mistakes because your teammates can cover your butt, and as long as one of them gets it correct, you're removing that heat. So in the case of multiple similar words, you can give your hint for your 2 and just hope that one of those is not the perpetrator, and the other player with those suspects can go, well, that's my suspect, so this has to be for that. It doesn't matter if everyone else on the team is confused, as long as that one other player can get it for you, you're still removing the same amount of heat. And those other players can then just say there's 4 music-themed words, they can just guess all the 4 music-themed words for those 2 people. They might not get them correct, they might get them correct, but they can still narrow it down to the correct perpetrator. This game is a ton of fun. I had a great time with everyone I played it with. no matter whether we did well or did awful. It's just a good one to play. You're going to want to play it again and again until you have that super successful game where you get rid of all of the heat. And you gotta love games that come in tiny boxes like these. That's really all I have to say. I highly recommend you check out Alibis. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more board game videos to come.